Jim Henson's Dinosaurs may have been a groundbreaking 90s sitcom, but what came next after it was just downright bizarre. Do I have a thing on my eyebrow? Oh no, I don't. Alright, I'm good. The 90s were a golden age for sitcoms, giving us shows like Seinfeld or Friends or Family Guy, and at the same time, it was an era of experimentation, where studios aimed to push creative boundaries and build on past successes, sometimes with mixed results. And one of the strangest attempts to recapture lightning in a bottle came from, of course, the Jim Henson Company. Their odd follow-up to Dinosaurs couldn't have been more forgettable, unless it included a visit from the Men in Black. Yet, as strange as it was, this short-lived sitcom offers a fascinating look at the evolving climate of 90s TV and what made shows like Dinosaurs so special. Now, if none of you grew up with dinosaurs like I did, don't worry, I will tell you stuff. So, reportedly in development since the late 80s and tied to Hollywood legend William Stout, Jim Henson's Dinosaurs was supposed to be like a natural history project kind of thing, like a movie with animatronic dinosaur puppets, and much like its prehistoric stars, the idea evolved into a TV show instead, with Jim Henson himself working on the project until his final days before passing. Just a year after his funeral in the 90s, Dinosaurs would hatch on ABC, and despite being one of the most expensive shows ever made, I mean, have you seen what they look like? Disney's prehistoric parody quickly found an audience, which of course it did. So, what is the show about, in case you wanted to know? Well, the show's about a family of megalosaurs. There's the father, Earl Sinclair, his wife, Fran, his wisecracking mother-in-law, Ethel, and the son, Baby Sinclair. Is that a son? Whatever, it's a baby. His name's Baby Sinclair. And through groundbreaking animatronic puppetry, the Sinclair family became the most iconic family of the 90s, With sharp satirical writing, the show roasted then modern life stuff before it ended run in 1994, which okay, I've always because I've always wanted to talk about this. Dinosaurs has the most darkest ending of all time. I saw it in a Blame It on Jorge video, and I was like, what the frick? If I was a kid back then in the 90s, this would have scarred me for life! Although the Jim Henson Company, which was then Jim Henson Productions, continued producing new shows like Dog City and Muppets Tonight through the 90s, which, side note, I've never heard of Dog City, but I've heard of Muppets Tonight. Few projects matched the chilling impact and clever cultural commentary of Dinosaurs. And that can be said for today's show, because it doesn't really mention it, but, okay. So, what are we talking about? What's the bizarre follow-up to Jim Henson's Dinosaurs? Today, we're talking about Aliens in the Family. Dinosaurs was a fossil phenomenon, permeating every stratum of 90s pop culture. From theme parks and fast food promotions, toys, and even music videos, it seemed to get everything short of a theatrical movie. So it wasn't really a surprise that the Jim Henson Company, ABC, and the Dinosaurs executive producer, which is Jim Henson's son Brian Henson, tried to replicate its success with a new puppet show, or new puppet-based sitcom. This time, however, Brian partnered with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's creators, Andy and Susan Borowitz, to make this extraterrestrial sitcom. However, unlike its edgy, ambitious predecessor, Aliens in the Attic took much of a different route, mining some of its Dinosaurs' most basic concepts in hopes of crafting its own identity. Like Family Matters before it, and I could argue it has some Alf themes to it, and the Harry Henderson or whatever, Aliens in the Family debuted in 1996 as part of ABC's primetime TGIF lineup. That'll get its own video one day. Anyways, the show focuses on the Brodies, a mixed suburban family brought together under bizarre circumstances. Doug Brody, an average human dad, falls in love with his single mother alien abductor Cookie. Oh no.
Oh! Okay! In that case, do you think you could elaborate?
Oh my god. So it's that kind of show. Okay. The family includes Doug's teenage daughter, Heather, who tries to navigate high school while adjusting to her new alien half-siblings, and then Cookie's eldest son, Spit, looking like a walking alien autopsy tape, and came complete with bodily functions that tested the limits of primetime TV. They also have middle children, Snizzy and Adam, brought to mischief to the sci-fi sitcom, often meddling with alien gadgets while stressing out Nanny Sally, and the family pet Varch, and back to round out the family, full house. Wow, whoopee-doo. However, at the heart of the chaos was Cookie's youngest child, baby Boboot, who was not only the future ruler of the universe, but also a pint-sized tyrant with one-liners and mind control powers. So, kind of like Baby Sinclair, except I like Baby Sinclair, but I don't like Bobbit.
Aliens in the Family debuted shortly after Muppets Tonight, the variety show hosted by fan favorite Muppet Clifford, who, according to Kermit the Frog, left the gang to pursue a career as a male model and bassist.
The show put a cosmic twist on the classic sitcom tropes, delivering episodes where Bobbit schemed to find love for Sally using his mind control device, Sizzy confronting a school bully with sentient candy she created, and Cookie disrupting Doug's workplace by introducing the outlandish Execumatron 5000. Okay, that's pretty weird. But despite the quirky cast and far humor, the show struggled to rise above the conventions of traditional sitcoms, relying more on novelty to keep viewers watching. And unfortunately, the show was short-lived. Airing just 2 weeks in the coveted TJF's time slot, the show was unceremoniously rocketed to Saturday mornings after it failed to garner respectable ratings, where it was eventually canceled after one season. Unlike the alien spaceship that brought Cookie and her brood to Earth, the sci-fi series never quite managed to take off, seemingly left to linger as a footnote in 90s television history, remembered mostly through online retrospectives and the faint nostalgia of those who caught it during its brief run. Look, there's just no understating about how popular Dinosaurs was back then, with Baby Sinclair becoming one of the most popular and recognizable sitcom characters ever. However, it does raise a question about Aliens in the Family, and why it didn't stand out as much as its antecedent, or even Third Rock from the Sun, which premiered in the same year, also about Alien Family, except, it's not a blended Alien Family. Oh, I don't want it, no. I'm sorry, Aliens in the Family. That's kind of weird to me. There's no doubt that the Aliens in the Family had a stellar premise and incredible talent and everything it needs to succeed. Yet today, anybody will be challenged to find out anyone who remembers the sitcom in general. I bet you guys don't even remember the sitcom, do you? Be honest. I know most of my viewers are kinda old, so be honest. Do you remember this show? Despite often being mistaken for a children's show due to its animatronic characters, Dinosaurs was anything but juvenile. Its social commentary had more bite than its carnivorous leads, tackling both topics like sexuality, environmental issues, the horrors of war, and even immigration. While some parents may have recognized Elmo's voice coming from Baby Sinclair, they likely never expected Sesame Street to discuss the birds and the lambrosis with their toddlers, you know? In contrast, Aliens in the Family rarely ventured outside safe territory, limiting itself to a few morbid jokes about brain dissection or quirky alien pickup lines. The Brody's adventures felt more in line with the classic mid-century sitcoms like Bewitched, My Favorite Martian, I Dream of Jeannie, rather than the countercultural edgy tone that defined Dinosaurs. The main point is that this show played it safe, delivering jokes that often fell flat enough to be mistaken for a crop circle. Where Dinosaurs, delivered shocked and amused audiences with its unapologetic satire, Aliens in the Attic, or Family, I said Attic because I was thinking of the movie, I'm sorry. Aliens in the Family felt flanderized and unable to capture the same energy. It even attempted to create its own Baby Claire stand-in with Bobbit. Well, I told you I hate Bobbit, so. But the effort felt forced and unoriginal. The Brody struggled to win over audiences because everything the show tried to do had already been done on better shows like Dinosaurs, Alf, like I mentioned before, but also Mork and Mindy and My Favorite Martian, which, okay, I'm googling the show. What the frick is My Favorite Martian and why have I never heard of it? My Favorite Martian. The TV show or the movie? Wait, what, maybe the TV show. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, and all of a sudden, I'm done now, I don't want to look anymore. Moreover, the sitcom landscape of the 90s was oversaturated. With competition on every channel, Aliens in the Family needed something special to stand out. And aside from the occasional clever gag and the Jim Henson's Creature Shop's extraordinary designs, it simply did not deliver. What made Dinosaurs a prehistoric powerhouse was its willingness to push boundaries. Aliens in the Family, by comparison, felt like a safe, sanitized imitation that could never escape its predecessor's shadow, never exploring the premise's true potential of what it'd be like if our first confirmation of alien life would be a match made in outer space. The 90s were undeniably defined by iconic shows like Seinfeld, Will and Grace, The Simpsons, and Married. with children. However, these cultural giants were only the tip of the iceberg in the sea of shows vying for attention. Programs like Aliens in the Family or Over the Top or Harry and the Hendersons, yes, there's a show for that. I don't know why there's a show for that, but whatever. May not ring any bells today, but their obscurity does not mean they lack value. Often it is the failures of TV, or those bold, peculiar, or ill-timed experiments that just tell us as much about the errors as the hits. These forgotten sitcoms provide insight into a time when creativity ran wild, networks gambled on gimmicks, and everybody wanted a slice of primetime spotlight. Whatever these sitcoms fell victim to, impossible competition, unfortunate timing, or notable flaws, they remain fascinating relics of an ambitious frontier in television history. Revisiting these evolutionary dead ends might have not resurrected them, but it could offer a greater appreciation for the risks that networks were just willing to take back then, and perhaps even uncover a hidden gem or two. In the end, just like the dinosaurs themselves, these sitcoms are reminders of a time when the landscape of entertainment was constantly evolving, sometimes in an unexpected and genuinely curious directions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. An interesting thing to dive into. This reminds me of that other show I talked about that Mr. Lawrence made. The alien show with the puppets. But that's besides the point. I thought that was pretty good. I hope you guys did too. If you guys have ever seen this show, let me know. I'm honestly curious, but the next video will be getting into vampires again. Ooh.